right, welcome in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Glad you're with us. Thursday, September 18th. Start turning the page heading into this weekend's games, GMAC. The injury report out early for Oklahoma and Auburn. It's a little bit maybe busier than some people may have anticipated. Some, I think these were expected. Some look at it, and I want to start going into this game, begin to break it down a little bit, talking about different aspects of it. Darrell Robinson going to be out for Auburn. Jeremiah Newcomb, Troy Everett, Jacob Sexton, Jake Taylor are going to be out for Oklahoma. We've known about some of those. However, questionable, Fabici Wiwu, Michael Fasusi, Jake Maekula, Isaiah Dent, Marvin Jones Jr. That's 4 offensive linemen questionable, 3 offensive linemen out for Oklahoma. Owen Hollenbeck probable for Oklahoma. What that does, though, is show you that offensive line, again, similar to last year, beat up for the Sooners. Is this an area that Auburn can? Is this an area that Auburn has to take advantage of to be competitive or win this game in Norman on Saturday that you're going to be on the call for?
100% they do. I think that that's an area where if they can neutralize Oklahoma, make them one-dimensional with their front four, it will help them in the back end where I think they're going to have their hands full. The unfortunate news, if you're looking at it from a Auburn fan's perspective, is that all the guys that are questionable are the guys that play. All the guys that are out on the offensive line are not factors. So it's not like any of the 3 guys that are out have been playing. Those guys have been non-contributors for the most part most of the year. But Fasusi at left tackle, him being questionable is significant. But maybe the biggest one is Jake Maekula. He's their center. He does a lot for them and is excellent. And the one guy that didn't have a, quote, or tag coming into the season, the one guy that has without question locked down his starting job is that right guard, Fabici Nwayu. And him being out could be significant. So if those guys are sidelined, that's big and massive. And the other guy is Marvin Jones, who is kind of the thunder to R. Mason Thomas's lightning on the edges. And I'm going to be honest with you, one area where I'm very concerned about Auburn in this game is their right tackle working against R. Mason Thomas. And then on the other side, I think Marvin Jones can certainly hold his own against Chaplin. But R. Mason Thomas against Mason Murphy is not a good matchup for the Tigers. They're going to have to help him out with chips, blocks, tight ends, and things like that. So if for whatever reason Marvin Jones can't go, that allows you to spend more time on R. Mason Thomas and not worry as much about the other side.
And one of the other reasons that some of those interior guys that you mentioned are a little bit more important, although it hadn't been there the whole year, Troy Everett would have been your next center. So if you did lose your center this week, you would be basically going to your third-string center, which is going to be problematic for Oklahoma. Giovanni Gibson, doubtful. Eli Bowen, doubtful. That would be a receiver and a DB. Bowen's played a lot for Oklahoma, done some good things. Darrell Robinson, I mentioned, out for Auburn. Amaris Williams, doubtful. Jay Crawford, doubtful.
Jay Crawford being doubtful and them having to likely rely on Strader is also a pretty big potential storyline in the game.
And I think the Baylor game showed people a lot, Greg, but it hasn't been a focal point much since then. I don't know a nice way to say it, but the Auburn secondary hasn't played very well this year, in my opinion. They haven't maybe played teams that have been able to take advantage of it on a consistent basis, and maybe it's teams that folks just didn't pay a lot of attention to because of the score of the game or the level of opponent. But for me, it's my biggest concern in this game. I mean, I think Auburn's D-line does have to win. I think Auburn's offensive line is absolutely critical in this game, and that's not being dominant. That's pretty much just holding up against this Oklahoma defensive line. But the secondary's got to show up because these are receivers that can take high percentage throws, and Oklahoma's going to give you a lot of quick game. They'll screen you. But then also you get some scramble drill, and when you get that, if you're not plastered to these receivers, John Mateer can still get it down the field, and that's going to be a problem. So this group's got to – I think the secondary has to have their best game of the year. Offensive line has to have their best game of the year if Auburn's going to have a chance to win this game.
The guy that's a huge problem for Auburn, I think, is Jared Kanik, the tight end number 12. I don't know who Auburn's going to cover him with because if it's the safeties, you got major issues. I don't think those guys are great cover guys. If it's Sylvester Smith, you might as well just forget about it. I mean, good cover guy, but against a guy that's 240 after the catch, that's going to be a problem. So I think figuring out who do you want covering the tight end is big. And Auburn's played a ton of man coverage this year. I don't know if that's a winning recipe long term. I just, especially on some third down stuff, I feel like I saw a lot of cover one. Felt like I saw a lot of man. I don't think Auburn's a team like right now. They're basically saying, "Hey, Ken Lee, you're in lockdown mode on their number one guy on the outside. Like we're going to play our quarters match coverage, but even our zone coverages is going to require our corners locking down." I don't know if that's a winning recipe. Like I think this receiver group for Oklahoma is good, not great. But I can tell you what becomes a huge issue is quarterback run game. If you're in man, quarterback run game will eat your lunch because your eyes are not in the backfield and you're not responsible for the quarterback's legs. So that's, I think, something that I would be a little concerned about too, is how much man I've seen from Auburn these first few weeks of the season. Is that who they are, or is that just what they've done? That's the big question.
And then to go further with some of the things you're referencing, questionable for Auburn, Champ Anthony, DB, Eric Singleton, wide receiver, Rashawn Pleasant, DB, Xavier Miller, offensive lineman. Miller's giving them good depth on the offensive line. Did not play as well last week as he did when he came in against Baylor. Singleton, obviously, we saw him get a little extra work last week. I think he's going to be there. This is going to sort of be, I believe, the situation with Singleton probably most of the year. When you have a lower extremity issue and your strength is basically how you run, it's probably not going to go away maybe until a bye week. So this is not overly alarming to me, but I think this is something Auburn fans probably need to get used to. And you got to continue to have him go, Greg. He's got to be a part of the offense because he gives you high percentage throws, push passes, handoffs that he can take the distance. And he's got to be a guy that the defense at least has to locate, has to pay extra attention to. We haven't really seen him get going down the field very much. He can do it. He's great at that. And that's going to require a couple of different things. Number one, the opportunity. Number two, the protection to be able to have the opportunity. But he's an important piece if Auburn's also going to be competitive in this one.
Yeah, and an accurate quarterback on downfield throws, which up to this point we haven't really seen from Jackson Arnold. I mean, the downfield throws have been substandard, like from what you would hope from a high-level prospect. He's missed a few. He did hit one on an underthrown deep ball that was a nice contested catch last week by Cam Coleman. He hit Singleton wide open on the little swing wheel, but they busted the coverage. You better have hit him. That was a pretty nicely thrown ball, though. He threw one on a kind of a deep cross against Baylor, but the throws over 20 have really not been good so far this year as far as accuracy and catchability. And then the likelihood of back shoulder hasn't really been there. He's underthrown a couple back shoulders and missed those pretty big as well. So I don't know if he's going to be a guy at this point where he's going to really be accurate on the downfield throws, like pinpoint precision accuracy, dropping it in the bucket. I don't know if that's who he is. So maybe he is, and we just haven't seen it. But I haven't seen anything that leads me to believe that that's who Jackson Arnold is. So Singleton's got to get some shots because you can't just screen him to death. I mean, he's great with the ball in his hands. But I want to take some shots to him. But before we do that, I got to know protection's good, and I got to know my quarterback, if we get a guy open, is going to hit him.
All right, so let's go a little bit further with Jackson Arnold and have a discussion about where he is at this point in the season. I think he's been fine. I think he's done some good things. I think there are still some things there that concern me. I came away from the South Alabama game very concerned with his feet and his level of comfort in the pocket. I still don't think that he has found his calm in the pocket. It reminds me of some of the Bo Nix concerns we had when he was at Auburn. Other quarterbacks that maybe leave the pocket a little bit too early, can't settle down. For me, Greg, just finding that way to be at ease in the pocket, that shows me when a quarterback is really progressing and really ready to take the next step in their offense. That's the part for me that I haven't seen from Jackson Arnold yet. I think it can still come. I think he can still get there. But just kind of take us through first quarter of the season, where you are on Jackson Arnold, maybe past what you anticipated and maybe what still needs to come along.
I think he's been fine. I think he's a runner. I think that's who he is. I don't envision him just transforming overnight into this elite thrower. He hasn't been that through 2 years plus now. I think he's a really good runner, though. And I think Hugh Freeze and his staff probably knew that when they recruited him, because they went out and got another veteran to come in the portal to provide some veteran depth. So they kind of knew what they had. Like, I don't think any of this surprises Hugh Freeze. I think he's an average thrower, but a good to great runner with the potential of becoming an elite runner. Assuming I don't know, probably never going to be an elite runner. Like, an elite runner's Lamar Jackson. But good to great, I think he could be a great runner. And it has kind of showcased that already.
Yeah.
Looking at the one game against P5 competition this year, though, against Baylor, like watching that tape now, probably 4 times. It felt like in that game, it was one to run. You look at your number one wide receiver, you take off. Or, hey, we're going to call it a simple RPO, you take off if it's not there. And there were some really impressive runs in the game, but it was kind of fortuitous also. Like, I don't see Oklahoma allowing that. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to be a little bit more deliberate in the passing game. You're going to have to be willing to, hey, number one's not there, number two's not there, number three's not there, now I run. So I want to see that progression. I want to see that develop. We saw a little bit of skin in the field last week. I thought that was encouraging. So maybe it's in there, but against top-tier competition, we hadn't seen it just yet. So I'm hopeful that he can provide that this weekend.
Let's roll this into a conversation on the plan. Barry Trammell's going to join us in 9 minutes to discuss the Oklahoma side of this, as this is a massive game this weekend for both of these two teams. It's beginning to feel like one of those fork-in-the-road games that maybe a Auburn, Mississippi State was for a couple of years. I'm trying to think who else other teams had early in the season. Kind of that Georgia, South Carolina game for a while, where the winner going on to 9, 10, 11 wins, the loser kind of finding their way to a bowl game and being bowl eligible and not necessarily being in contention for championships. It's beginning to feel like this one has that sort of ramification, specifically with what's left for both teams, definitely with what's left for Oklahoma. The rest of that schedule just looks nasty. The plan offensively for Auburn, I think the first thing is you got to manage the movement. The defensive line, Greg, the interior guys are going to twist. They're going to slant. You're going to have linebacker run through. They're going to have replacement linebackers over the top, inside, outside. You just got to deal with it. And that doesn't mean you have to dominate it. You don't have to knock guys 7 yards off the ball. But if you allow that penetration to be there, if you allow those replacement defenders to show up and there's nobody to account for them, they're going to be in position to just flat make plays. And I think they're satisfied making all those plays at the line of scrimmage because they're just finding ways to get defenders unblocked, which is what happens a lot. You mentioned the pass rush situation. It's going to be a lot of showing pressures but not bringing them. And once again, getting guys freed up is what they're really good at. And they have guys that can win the one-on-ones. It's not like they can't do it. They can. But they have an incredible knack for just finding ways to get guys free, and then they punish you when that happens. From an offensive standpoint,
looking at their blitz packages, like they'll call cover zero from anywhere, which I appreciate. You always have to have your antenna up for all-out blitz. The other thing about playing Oklahoma, I don't feel like I see as many teams loop linebackers as much as they do. Like it's jaw-dropping how often they're looping linebackers and layering their protection or layering their pass rush. So like one guy will hit and then the next guy is coming. It's like just an onslaught, just never ending. So it's like, all right, hey, the back gets this guy. Oh shoot, here comes the other guy. You know what I mean? It's just wow. They just make it very difficult on you, and they change sides. So like a guy will start on the left and then end up blitzing on the right, but it'll all be after the snap. So I think that's really difficult. And then the last thing I think they do that's really hard is on almost every third down, I feel like they have 6 or 7 guys walked up in a sprinter stance looking like pressure. And you got to figure out who's coming and who's not. And oftentimes you're probably going to guess wrong. So I think playing against this defense is just very, very difficult unless you have quick throws that can beat them quickly and kind of talk them out of it. That's why I think Singleton is so important in this game for Auburn.
So outside of that quick game, which Auburn does possess, it is something that can be a part of how they're going to operate. I've told you what I think the plan should be in the run game, and you've seen Auburn implement a little bit of this over the last couple of weeks, these quick-hitting zone plays where they get downhill in a hurry, mostly inside. Perimeter run game, don't love against these guys because the linebackers can run. I mean, and then too, when some of the movement, like you said, replacement defenders over the top that you're going to get, it's hard to be accountable for those guys when they're moving post snap because offensive linemen, when they pull, don't always locate guys initially. Again, back to the robotic stuff that we've talked about with how football's being trained these days because of all the movement. Part of it has to be that way.
Right.
What else do you look at from the plan offensively for Auburn that you feel like you would like, that you feel like would have a good chance of being successful?
Well, fun stat. You know what the deepest any team has been on Oklahoma this year? Like the furthest they've traveled on the field. Do you know the deepest yard line they've reached?
I'm going to say the 28.
No, close. 13. So I'm sitting there trying to watch my red zone cut-ups like I always do on Wednesdays yesterday, and I'm like, where's the low red zone? Where's the goal line? there's the closest snap was last week in the fourth quarter on the 13-yard line, plus 13. So this is a really good defensive outfit. Other things I think Auburn can do. I've noticed at least 1 to 2 times they're moving the pocket. I think you have to move the pocket like crazy in this game, because this is a very aggressive group, and I think some of your rollouts can kind of calm them down a bit. Do you agree?
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of that have some success against them. I think Michigan started to go to that a little bit later, and they realized we're going to need this to potentially – you give them that option of a quarterback with mobility that can pull it and run. I think the edges become a little bit more aware of that, maybe play a little bit flatter, and that can open some other things up. Yeah, I'm with you there.
But if I were Oklahoma, in all seriousness, like I know you are who you are and you want to be aggressive. Why would you be aggressive in this game? Like if I'm rushing the passer, I don't want to rush the passer that hard. I want to go up and inside. I want to condense and dent the pocket, and I want to make Jackson Arnold flush out sideways, where my linebackers, who are really athletic, can close and make the play. Like I wouldn't be too aggressive in this game if I were Oklahoma. How do you see it?
I like your thought there, but this was the question that I had coming into this season for Oklahoma. And I looked at the depth chart, and I looked at guys that I knew that were proven, that I had seen play, and that I knew what they were made of. And I thought this from top to bottom for Oklahoma. And my immediate thought was, well, they're not going to be near as aggressive as they were last year. And, people might say, why? I'm like, well, have you seen Jaden Jackson play? Have you seen Grayson Halton play? Have you seen David Stone, Dom Williams play? They don't need to do it. It's not necessary. And then you add Marvin Jones, where it felt like they could play a little more traditional 4-down with a bigger, thicker, longer defensive end who's going to be in a contract year. Then you got your speed guys on the other side with Heineke, Lewis walking up to pressure. They can add speed to how they want to bring maybe their fifth defender at times. They're not going to have to be that guy or that team. And then they come out in game one, and they're maybe more aggressive than they were at any point last year. So
it's crazy how
I don't know if they
aggressive
can help themselves, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm with you. No, I wouldn't. I don't think they need it. Because like I've told you, and you can't rely on this and you can't plan for this. But Auburn must take advantage of movement in the run game. They got to catch them. You've got to understand, have awareness when you're blocking it. If you're running let's say you're running a zone play to the right. When that center goes to maybe help combo a 2 technique and he goes across the face of the guard, so he goes away from you, you have to understand right then to maybe slow your track a little bit. There's going to be a replacer coming over the top, and you got to go wall him off. Don't go continue to climb to a backer. Don't get off balance. Like, you have to understand, stay under control, take that looper, stop him, and then there should be a really nice run lane right there. And they got to hit him quick, and they got to hit it fast. I think they have to take advantage of those, Greg. Because Oklahoma's essentially giving that to you. They get defensive ends upfield. You got to kick them out, and you got to change your track, and you got to find a way to get north and south and make them pay for that, because then you calm them down, and that hopefully helps you out probably more in pass rush situations or in some of the lateral run game where they're going to have defenders moving out flat anyway. But I know you can't go into and say, we're going to do this against this. You just have to know that it's coming and be prepared for it. And when you get it, you have to execute it, and you have to make them pay.
100%. And I think another thing too, like the quarterback run game has to be huge, but it's got to be call it and run it. I think you can gash them with some of your Q power gap trap stuff. Off jet sweep, like they've shown a million times. The jet sweep reads with the Q power behind it. Like I think there's a lot of things they can do. You can marry that up with screens. You can take advantage of some aggressiveness with their little play action misdirection, bump a guy out in the flat. So I think there's things that they can do to move the ball and to kind of harness the aggressiveness, like you said. And if you over pursue, if you get out of control, if the defense gets a little too aggressive, I think you can gash them, but I don't think it's going to be very easy. And I don't know right now. I think you're going to have to win a bunch of one-on-ones on the outside too. Like Cam Coleman needs to have a huge game. This is what you're coming in for. This is why you've been brought here. You need to have a huge game in this setting. Because if you look at Oklahoma's defensive backs, they are really good players, but they're not overly long. Gentry Williams is 5'11". Cortland Guillory's listed at 6 foot, but he doesn't look that tall. Like the guys on the outside are not huge. They have 2 or 3 5'11" corners, and that to me should be a huge advantage in favor of a guy that's every bit of 6'3" in Cam Coleman. So I think it's a big boy game here for Cam Coleman. He's got to go and make the plays in those contested catches like he's done so routinely in his career. And if he does, that's going to give them a lot of positivity, I think, going into it. But I think Oklahoma knows that, and they're going to cloud that side because they play a lot of combo coverage. And I could see them just comboing the heck and doubling Cam Coleman.
All right, Barry Trammell's going to join us in a few moments to help us discuss this game, give us the Oklahoma side of things. Before we do that, I want to tell you about your CBD store. The Brain Boost Energy Seltzer is in now. You can boost focus, cognition, and energy levels with a lightly carbonated pick-me-up, 90 milligrams of Lion's Made, 75 milligrams of caffeine. You can go get this now at your CBD store, one of their 3 locations. The Trim by SunMed weight loss capsules or gummies are in stock now at your CBD store. You can curb your cravings naturally with SunMed's full-spectrum Trim weight loss capsules or cutting-edge wellness supplement that's powered and clinically proven by extracts shown to suppress appetite and reduce your cravings. They are open. You don't have to worry about what you've seen on the news. This is not one of the other places that's having issues like that. They're going to be able to help you with different things like that weight loss that I just mentioned. Also focus throughout the course of the day, energy, arthritis, anxiety for you or your pet. Visit one of their 3 locations today, Highway 280 by Bailey Brothers, 150 by the Cage in Cleaver, Trustful just off 459, your CBD store, where good health hits home. Barry Trammell talking Oklahoma next right here on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Going to move on to the Oklahoma side of this matchup as Greg and I begin to break it down in the last segment. We'll hear from Barry Trammell here in just a moment. Move to him. But if you're looking to move out of your house, Greg, who do you need to call?
That'd be Crocker Moving Search. They're a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys. And you can trust them in your home, whether it's your whole home pack to move your company headquarters across the country, or you just want them to come rearrange your living room. They got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you purchase need to get to your home. So call or visit them online today for a free quote. The website's CrockerMovingSearch.com. That's CrockerMovingSearch.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Search for your next move.
Barry Trammell joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. He covers the Oklahoma Sooners. And Barry, this is one that a lot of the attention is going to go to Jackson Arnold because he initially went to Oklahoma, played there, and now is making his return. What do the Oklahoma faithful think about him and his return to Norman?
Well, I don't think Jackson's considered a villain so much as just the sort of the enemy with an interesting past that they know pretty well. Now, I've seen Auburn play. I watched the Baylor game, and he looked pretty dang good. So it should be a little bit of a respect and trepidation, because clearly Jackson Arnold was a talented football player, and whatever went wrong at Oklahoma, it just wasn't working. But I think this has the chance to blow up in Sooner faces if he comes in here and beats the Sooners on Owen Field. So I think there's a little bit of trepidation that it could go wrong, but also a lot of belief and hope that, hey, this is one of the great quarterback transfers in Oklahoma history, to go from Jackson Arnold to John Mateer.
Well, Mateer's been outstanding. I've loved watching him play. But what has been the reception so far from Oklahoma fans for him? I mean, it seems like they couldn't be more thrilled, and understandably so, with what he's provided the position.
Yeah, he's been exactly as he was billed, which is not always the case for even the greatest players or the greatest stories. He's not played 100% fabulous football. They said he was a little bit of a gambler and makes some throws he'd like to have back. Well, he's done that. He's got 3 picks and one in each game, and some of it has just been throwing it into places he probably shouldn't throw it. 2 of the 3, I would say. And but he makes so many other plays that you live with it. And we were told, hey, he's a big playmaker with his arm, but even more so maybe with his legs, and that's proven to be true. The one thing I think he's a little bit different on is, from early, a lot of comparisons personality-wise to Baker Mayfield, and he's not near as brash as Baker Mayfield was. I don't know why people where that impression came from, but he's, Baker was born brash. He's still brash. I don't know. Baker hadn't made any news off the field in I think 24 hours, 12 hours, whatever it is. Mateer's not that way. Mateer is pretty. He's real personable and outgoing, but he's not real brash or overconfident. So, but anybody that gets compared to Baker Mayfield in Soonerland is held in high esteem, and he certainly fit the bill for exactly what the Sooners needed.
I don't think there's any doubt. Barry Trammell joining us, talking OU. This is just kind of hit me when you were answering that question, because we know Ben Arbuckle came with him. Was there any thought post this season to this, or was this just, hey, we think this can be amazing for 1 year? Let's get the most out of it, maximize it, and then we'll save the head coach's job, and we'll figure it out after that.
Well, I think the best case scenario is Mateer comes in, plays great, they have a great year, his NFL stock goes high, and then I think it's see what happens then. I think the Sooners made a cataclysmic mistake 2 years ago or 3 years ago when they brought in Dillon Gabriel. They got the commitment from Jackson Arnold, and they made a pretty early decision. Hey, after Dillon's second year, He can go to the NFL, and we'll hand the reins to Jackson Arnold, who's this tremendous recruit. And they stuck with that even when it became pretty clear Dillon Gabriel wasn't going to the NFL. And you can't pay two quarterbacks. Most people know that and don't do that. And the Sooners just went ahead with the plan to go with Jackson Arnold and let Dillon go on the free market, and away he went to Oregon and had a tremendous year, All-American, unbeaten in the regular season, number one seed, all those things. And the truth is, if Dillon Gabriel's your quarterback and you got a chance to keep him for a next year, you got to do that. And it doesn't worry who's in the locker room with you. And I think they've learned that. I think they'll go all in on trying to keep John Mateer for a second season. Whether they can or not, who knows? But I don't think they'll make the same mistake they made again.
Yeah, if you can keep him, then hopefully you won't be able to keep him because he plays so well. He plays his way into the first round. He can go. That'd be great. I think that's the ticket there. Just quick question about the challenges of kind of jumping to conclusions about this Oklahoma's defense, because I've loved what I've seen so far. I also acknowledge they probably haven't played anybody that really has any firepower whatsoever. That's no disrespect to Michigan, and just they don't scare me, especially with that plan. That plan was just not good. I don't really know what else to say. It was just uber conservative, and I don't think it's an indicator for future success. So is this defense legit? I mean, are we really confident in this group?
Well, I think it is legit. Most Brent Venables defenses are. I think you're right that it's largely untested. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but, Sharon Moore was suspended last week for Michigan's game. I think it was Central Michigan they were playing. And Biff Pogai was the interim coach, and he in surrounding talk about Bryce Underwood, he said, we really need to take the wraps off Bryce Underwood. So Michigan, the coaches know that they've brought him along a little slowly and didn't really give Michigan a chance to win in Norman. Now, if you open up the playbook and let it rip, you might get beat 38-13. He might have committed 3 turnovers. But it's in modern football, it's hard to win with a quarterback playing like it's 1969. So I think with Underwood, it was going to be a challenge, turned out to not be a challenge. And I think, Jackson Arnold has proven with his running that he can challenge you. Now, I think the Sooners will try to curtail his run and make him throw, and then we'll see what happens. But I do think it's a really good defense, but it is largely untested. That'll end soon. They got a litany of big-time offenses on the schedule. So we'll find out soon enough. And Auburn, of course, with those receivers, and then Hugh Freeze is a great offensive mind. Auburn will be a big test.
Barry Tremmel covers Oklahoma, joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. You've seen the injury report like we have, Barry. From the Oklahoma side of things, how do you expect that to impact this game? We know questionable, doubtful, probable, all that, but just your best feeling on maybe who goes, who doesn't go, who's able to be impactful, who might be limited to the point that they don't impact this game.
Well, I mean, when I saw it, I was a little concerned because Jake McCullough, the new starting center, was listed as probable or questionable. I forgot now, but with his name on the list at all, Troy Everett started the year as the starting center. He's lost for the year. He got a practice injury 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was last Tuesday. I can't remember. But Jake McCullough has taken over as the center already, but they had a lot of depth there with Everett. Now they don't have the depth. If Jake can't go, behind him is a true freshman. Now, I assume they would move one of the other, pull the old NFL move of moving a guard over to play center, but that's not ideal. So to me, that's the key, is that offensive line. Michael Fasucci, the starting or the true freshman who started the Michigan game and is such a great prospect, he's on that list as probable or questionable. And a couple other guys that have played a lot, Jake Taylor, Jacob Sexton. So that offensive line is not intact for sure, and that's a serious problem if one or two of those guys don't play, especially the center. Keep an eye on the center position.
Definitely one that could be problematic. So when it's all said and done, how do you see this one playing out? What are your expectations for how this one works itself out Saturday afternoon?
Well, I think I'm not sure it'll be as low scoring as everybody else, but I do think Auburn will move the ball. You know, the Sooners beat Auburn last year just via the turnovers, and Oklahoma didn't move the ball on Auburn much. They got two big plays from Michael Hawkins. It's a different Oklahoma offense. It's nothing like that. John Mateer will produce big plays. Now, Auburn needs to turn him over a time or two, and that would impact the game. I assume Oklahoma has the advantage because of the home field, but, you know, things change so quickly in college football today in terms of how good a team is from year to year. I don't know that you can put much stock. And so far, we've really just got two real tests that we can bank anything on, right? And that's Auburn-Baylor was a fascinating game. Oklahoma-Michigan was a fascinating game. The Auburn offense looked great. The defense not so much, but we know Baylor's good. The Oklahoma defense looked great against Michigan, but we know the Michigan offense isn't great. So I think it's still a wide open. Either one of these teams could win. Either one of these teams could still have a miserable season or a great season. I mean, we've literally it's a
welcome to the SEC.
landscape.
I'm about to say, isn't that the case for everybody?
Well, I'm going to put Georgia not on that list. I think the Georgians are headed for a pretty good year after what I saw. Gunnar Stockton and Georgia's history. Georgia does not seem to have. They don't have much of a floor. But you're right about Texas could not be very good after what we've seen. Alabama, we don't. After Florida State, we don't know. LSU's got all kinds of problems, and yet they probably deserve to be ranked number one in America. So you're right. We don't know a lot, but that's what's good about getting past the rum-dum games. We're going to start finding out, and we certainly find out a lot about it on Saturday.
Barry, we appreciate the time. Great stuff as always. Always love visiting with you. Enjoy this one this weekend. We'll catch up soon.
Okay, see you guys.
There you go. Barry Trammell. Find him on Twitter at Barry Trammell. Worked for the Tulsa World covering Oklahoma sports. Actually has a couple articles up now on Utah and Oklahoma State. A couple other things if you want to go check those out. Barry always does great work. So we'll finish up on this game. More to get to on it because there is some intrigue. We'll hear from Hugh Freeze, his thoughts, hear from Brett Venables as well. You've heard me talk about Game Day Men's Health and what they can do for you. All you do is go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today, sign up for the free consultation. You get the free PSA test, the free testosterone test. They're going to let you know where your baseline health is because if you're lacking energy, lacking sleep, feeling on edge, all could be the effects of low testosterone, and they want to help you out with that today. Weight loss, they have multiple programs that they can help you out with there at Game Day Men's Health. You go sign up now, you're going to get a no-charge consultation that includes that testosterone and PSA test. So go see what they can do for you. Go see all the programs that they have that can maybe help you. Mention us, save 10% on any of those programs that they offer. Locker room environment, holistic approach to health and wellness, minimal upfront costs for the programs that they offer, now open in Trustville as well. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Tell them you heard about them here. All right, when we come back, continue diving into Auburn, Oklahoma. Hear from the two head coaches next on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. 7:43 Thursday, September 18th, right here on Jocks. I was watching like a sports highlight show before we came in.
Also known as Sports Center?
It was not.
Oh, you dusted off George Brett?
No, it was CBS Sports HQ because the TV in the office we don't have ESPN in there. It's the whatever comes on the Samsung channel list. And so it's what's our Vegas guys that we watch?
Oh gosh. I don't remember their names, but they were great.
It's not VEASAN, whatever it is.
They were beauty.
You got a gambling show, you got NBA TV. I think you still have a Pac-12 channel for whatever that shows, an ACC alternate channel, and CBS Sports. So, I mean, that gives you like a little bit of everything. So sometimes I put that on. And they were, I mean, believe it or not, they spent a lot of time talking soccer. I guess it's like prime soccer season for something somewhere, one of these leagues, La Liga, Conquistadors, whatever the hell right now. I don't know what's going on. But either way, one of the analysts that they had on had an accent. And it was just like, I immediately start paying attention because the way he sounds. I don't know why. And it got me thinking, if you could switch to have any accent on earth, which would it be?
Australian.
So I think it has to be up there. This guy wasn't.
Yeah.
This guy didn't have an Australian accent, though.
Was it British?
No, and that definitely wouldn't be it.
South African?
No, but that's good. South Africa, New Zealand, that's one that I think would be a win.
Can I give you a sneaky good one?
Sure.
Like Hawaiian.
Okay, I don't like
just
like Pacific
just
Island
like a very
accent.
like a very like upbeat I guess it's more like terminology than it is like a specific accent.
I think there's a
but it's
little
just
accent that
awesome.
goes with it, though.
A little bit, but it's just the best. Like when I am like having a conversation with someone that is from Hawaii, it's like they're just the coolest people. Like they just have such a positive vibe about them. I just love it.
Well, maybe
Absolutely love
it depends on what you're talking about too, because this guy was talking soccer, but this guy had like that really thick Irish accent, and I was just kind of like,
Did he need subtitles?
Kind of awesome. Like, no, I mean, I could grab it. It was good, but I mean, if you were like a boxing analyst, I feel like that's a win no matter what. It doesn't matter
absolutely.
it doesn't matter what you're saying. Like you're good, you're in. But it just worked, and I was just like, man, I'd listen to this dude talk all day. I don't even care what he's talking about. I just want to hear him break something down. Let's go. So I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting question. If you could switch to any accent, like what would it be?
Mine is 100% Australian. Like it's no doubt. I
think if I was 19 in college, Australia might be it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I'd go with. But I'm gonna also be honest with you. Like I really, really wish I had like a deep. I wish I talked like Gene Stallings.
Okay.
Like I really do. Like I want a deep Southern accent. Like really deep Southern accent.
You want to go full Johnny Mox? Wow.
Like Foghorn Leghorn.
No, Johnny Moxon doesn't have a low voice. It's James Vanderbeek, who I think is probably from California. God knows where he's from. It's like you can tell it's like that's he worked on that accent. Like it's not authentic. Like I want to talk like Gene Stallings.
I would say he tried. I don't
sounds
even
so
know if he
cool.
really worked on it because it wasn't that good. So
Exactly.
he gave it a go, and that's about it. Yeah. No, the old school, Foghorn Leghorn would be great.
Little Scarlett O'Hara for the ladies. I do declare.
John, where would you go?
I'm thinking Italian.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
Italian's not bad. But an Italian speaking Italian is so much better than an Italian speaking English.
Oh, absolutely.
Fair, but I think that, but just the accent in general is gonna.
So it just comes with the ability to speak and be bilingual. Like I can get on board with that. If you tell me right now I can speak another language, like in action.
Okay. All right. I just thought it was a fun topic.
I like
to
it.
throw
Good
out there,
talk.
because I was like, man, that's the one I'd probably have to take. Dan Strickland tweets in at Mac and Q. Best sports accent is soccer's Derek Ray, Scottish. And I'm going to be honest with you. I may have gotten those mixed up, and that could have been him.
That is true.
It could have been him.
Right. Yeah.
He was wearing a 3-button sweater on there today. Maybe it was him.
The old tri-button sweater.
But like when
Love
you listen
that.
to Ian Dark call anything, I don't care what it
Ian
is.
Doc.
He's awesome. It's incredible. We'll take it. All right.
Is it Ian or Ian?
It's a great question. It depends on where you're from, I think.
There's a guy that covers Missouri. His name is Callum McAndrew. And he's been on our airways before, and we didn't realize until we asked his first question. And, oh boy, we were not expecting the motherland to come out of him.
Can we get that guy on to talk Missouri, South Carolina tomorrow?
I'm going to hit him up. But
And then go right into Concaftador, whatever it's called? just throw right in there? Or when the British Open comes, maybe he can help us break that down? 800-239-9569. You give us yours next on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. You guys know that heat's going to come back. Don't let it affect you. 800-239-9569. You want to get in? Talk accents just for a moment, then we'll get right back into college football. Matt Zennett's going to be with us at 8:20. Talk new transfer rule. Talk some coaching moves in college football already. Wim Sanderson with us at 9. Heat and humidity is not done just yet. That's why you need a Trane in your home. Keep your family comfortable with an affordable Trane cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand 11 consecutive years. They're the official cooling partner here at Jocks. Find a comfort specialist near Trane.com. It's hard to stop a Trane. Tweet in at Mac and Cube. You can text in 205-834-9450. A couple good tweets coming in. Hit us up on the phones, 800-239-9569. Hear from you on that topic as well. Russell Terry tweets in that old money Mobile accent just hits different.
It does. That's the one.
Jamie Bailey tweets in, which accent is easiest to imitate? That's easy. College coach.
Yeah, I would say high school, college, NFL coach.
Maybe an O-line coach?
O-line.
No, they're just all,
that's
all coaches are the same.
all coaches are the same. They could be from Rochester, New York, and they still sound like Rick Trickett. That's our goal.
Rick Trickett is the easiest for me. Yeah, it's a little more, but yeah.
We do not discriminate when it comes to coaches, regardless of where they're from. They're all essentially from the country in the deep South.
I don't know. We also can kind of do the uninformed fan. Oh, I thought it was this. Oh,
That is fair.
No, that's the whiny. Yeah, that's the
Look how
whiny.
big.
Yes. Yeah, that's the whiny. We also have the nerdy voice. The nerdy voice is a good one. That's a fun one too, but not really an accent, just nerdy.
Now, Ross,
when you sound soft, that's how we talk.
oh boy, here we. Ross Twing has a great tweet. I'll get to that in a minute. Here we go. Jolly tweets in. Champions League kicked off. Big games this week. Initial play. Golazo, ESPN FC is top in coverage as a soccer follower. The British and Spanish color commentary analysis, sideline are entertaining. My oldest boy played soccer, and that's why I'm dialed in. So,
Love that.
Okay.
Ross Twing tweets in, Greg wants to sound like the wide receiver with the Carolina Panthers who played at South Carolina. His name is Xavier Legette. And if you are asking for the most difficult access to imitate, this would be it.
I just hope they got some good food. I'm a picky eater, so I just hope they got something I can eat.
They have good chocolate.
I don't eat candy like this.
But what are your no-goes? You say you're a picky eater. What are your no-goes?
Yeah, I don't eat seafood. I don't eat like peppers and onions and all that. I don't really eat vegetables like this.
What? So you eat like pizza?
Yeah, and like I just started eating asparagus. I eat like string beans and green peas. But
That's not a
Do they have
surprise
to
for
be
some
cooked in
reason.
bacon grease? Do they have to be cooked in bacon grease?
No. That ain't like that.
Pasta?
Yeah, I eat some pasta.
Okay.
Yeah, I eat some pasta.
Chicken, steak, all the regular stuff.
Yeah, all
No
the regular.
seafood though?
Nah, I'm allergic.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll give you that one.
I never knew
He
there was
might be one of my favorite players I think we've ever covered.
I never knew there was
I
an
absolutely love that kid.
I in vegetables.
Only
Vegetables.
Green peas.
I thought that was the Advocates. Green peas?
He
Okay.
said green peas. I thought he was saying green peace,
Green peas?
like peace.
I've never heard anything like it. I really haven't.
He's the best. He's one of my favorite kids we've ever covered. Like I
And
absolutely
he is
love
an
that kid.
incredible young man. Like just an
Incredible.
incredible story. What he's overcome, unbelievable. Obviously, small town kid, but just a really, really cool kid too.
Coolest.
And I hope he keeps doing well in the NFL. But yeah, that one right there is second to none.
That voice
It's a
is
good
like
one.
Charles Barkley and Randy Moss had a baby.
That's fair. Hamilton tweets in, late 50s, Deep South, Marlboro, red chain smoker, wheezy, laughy, hacking uncle accent is the bomb. It's a lot.
That's very descriptive.
Yeah.
And perfect.
Big Sexy tweets in, we know what accent Brian Kelly wanted.
Oh,
Back with more
wow.
next.